An entire world religion's claim to Abraham rides on this one chapter, Islamic tradition. All of it built on what happens to Ishmael in the wilderness in Genesis 21. But here's what almost nobody points out. The same chapter names the other son. Islamic tradition locates God's blessing on Ishmael in the wilderness, the Arab peoples, and ultimately the entire Muslim belief. The Prophet Muhammad himself traced their lineage back to him. That whole theological standing, Ishmael as the founder of a great nation blessed directly by God, raised up in the desert, comes overwhelmingly from Genesis 21's ending, not Genesis 16. Here's where it gets interesting, because this is where the Hebrew text and later Islamic tradition starts to diverge. Okay, so Genesis 21 does say Ishmael will become a great nation. That part both traditions agree on. But read the chapter carefully, the same chapter, and you'll notice something. 3 verses before God hears a boy crying in the wilderness, God says something to Abraham about Isaac. Verse 12, it is through Isaac that offering shall be named for you. It's the same chapter, same God, and the same conversation. And 21, yet it's 2 completely different sons. And the Hebrew text is doing something very deliberate. It's holding 2 things at once. Ishmael is blessed. Ishmael becomes a great nation, but the covenant line, the Abrahamic promise, the inheritance, the chosen lineage goes through Isaac. That's the part later Islamic tradition reads differently. Not whether Ishmael is blessed. The Hebrew text is clear that he was. The divergence is over which son carries the covenant. And in the Genesis text itself, it's not ambiguous. It's stated outright in the same chapter, 10 verses before Ishmael's wilderness scene even starts. So when we say Genesis 21 is the textual foundation for Ishmael's standing, that's true. But the same textual foundation for Isaac as the covenant son. The Hebrew Bible doesn't choose between them by erasing one. It chooses between them by naming one, and it names Isaac. The doublet reading isn't dismissive of Ishmael. It's the reason Ishmael's story survived at all. It's large enough to hold what 3 world religions ended up doing with it. But the question of which son carries the covenant, that's not a doublet question. And that's not up for editorial debate. The Hebrew text answers it directly in the same chapter. The language is very direct. It's through Isaac. So when later Islamic tradition reroutes a covenant line through Ishmael, that move doesn't survive a careful reading of Genesis 21. The chapter blesses Ishmael. The chapter names Isaac. The chapter does both at once, so you can't take the blessing and then just swap it with a covenant.